Feminism has ruined the majority of Western women by promising freedom from men. Women need men more than they realize because they are dissatisfied with their jobs and are becoming crazy, lonely cat ladies, but they won't admit it as long as it is taboo to do so. They will gradually come to understand it when our culture becomes more conservative in the coming years. Women will then assert that they require men because it is popular to do so, not because it is true. And they will act shocked when men treat them with true equality, which they eventually don't like. And there goes feminism down the drain. Many men will actually respond and help women who call out for assistance from men, re-establishing the so-called conventional relationship. Neo-traditionalism will resurface if they ask men for help. When numerous men come to help them as a result of their appeals, a new type of neo-traditionalism will undoubtedly emerge. In exchange, they will receive traditional relationships. In this situation, women will abruptly assert their concern for men, bringing them back to the negotiation table. Therefore, it is utterly unreasonable for women to make statements like, "What men bring to the table." The meat and vegetables that are on your plate and that are on the table were probably all raised on farms that we created. Men also likely worked on the water mains that allow you to fill your kettle or drink water with the meal we produced. The beer that you can drink to eat with the food that we farmed was likely created by us working at the breweries. So if you want one with your dinner of food that we farmed on a table that we made. Men laid the foundations for the male bricklayers to build a house that the male roofers could put a roof on, so then you and I and everyone else could eat their dinner farmed by men. He continued and said, "Drink the drink that's been produced by men on the table that's been built by men, so I think we bring more than enough to the table." Throughout their lives, men are supposed to do everything for women, and literally dedicate their lives to providing for, protecting, and helping women. And you know what? Men do that with a lot of joy, and it brings them a lot of satisfaction when they know they're being the providers. It gives them a solid purpose. They do it proudly because that's in their nature. I'm talking about high-value men, not a simp who starts crying if he gets rejected by a girl. But the question is, why do women expect everything from a man, especially when all they can do now is talk about equality and how men have oppressed and controlled them? It's quite true that modern women have become too entitled. Women should be aware of the hypocrisy with which they live, which includes expecting others to take care of everything, while simultaneously marching through the streets waving equality flags. But one thing is certain. The main weapon modern women have and employ against men is manipulation. They've been accustomed to it since they were teenagers and will keep using it till the day they pass away. They will attempt to manipulate your feelings in order to get what they want because, as we all know, they believe they are entitled to it. They will try to manipulate you into buying them gifts, into being okay with them seeing other people, into moving closer to where they work, and into believing in whatever they want you to believe. There's no end to it, and it frequently succeeds with weak men. They are primarily chasing one thing, and they will put up with abuse solely for the sake of that one thing, which we all know. Thus they fall for the manipulative tactics of women, both intentionally and unknowingly. As I previously stated, women's entitlement is unjustified, and men no longer need to make exceptions for them because they clearly don't understand what their place is in contemporary society. If a woman makes an unjustified or incorrect claim based on her inflated ego and entitlement, men need to make sure to put her in her place. The entire equality discussion gives off the impression that women will only receive partial equality. As you can see, women desire equality, but they also want to work for it. An illustration. Women still won't be queuing up to work in the construction sector. They will discuss equality in order to limit their ability to serve as CEOs and board members of businesses in the construction sector. They will only discuss their military service as leaders of businesses in the defense sector. Even though they simply want to run government entities, they will talk about equality in the government. It seems equality for women is about taking control and taking over positions held by men who have dedicated their lives and climbed the ladder by sacrificing their everything just in an ultra-competitive world. Modern feminine women are also promoting a dangerous narrative, which is that they believe they can function in societies without any men in those societies. This is a dangerous narrative because it will misinform young women about how they can do that without ever having to work for it. Will these women work in the sewers? Will they work in the mining industry? Will they literally work in deplorable conditions that men work in just so they can feed their wives and children? Or is just the CEO that modern women want to emulate and look at? Why the hypocrisy? Why selective equality? Truth be told, this isn't equality. It's gender politics for domination while using whole generations of innocent women as pawns. While giving women a larger share of the advantages, men are expected to do more work. The fact that certain men have realized this and are backing down makes it difficult for the women who are fighting for equality. Men will be able to spot when they are being taken advantage of if they are informed that they are needed because they are expected to work harder than they should, and provide women at least half of the riches. Contrary to what some women may claim, more men would pick their own route and go their own way if they were truly equal to women, which is something neither women nor men find appealing. Why do I say this? Because if men and women were actually equal, then men really will have to be competing and living with women who will have the characteristic of men. And that's not something that men like in women. That's not something that all women can be like, to be honest. What about being feminine? Is that a dying concept now? Women merely want us to fall for the trap and engage in a rigged game of love is our battlefield with them. By displaying vulnerability, women can empower men by getting them to step up, become involved, and take care of them. Males will, however, go their own way and look for other reasons for existing in addition to defending women, as women assert their power more and more. If women don't need our protection, why are we still around? While women want men to stick by their sides, take care of them, and listen to their problems, they also want men to think that they are not completely reliant on them. I believe this is something that the person who changed her gender wasn't aware of. Feminism has ruined the majority of Western women by promising freedom from men. Women need men more than they realize because they are dissatisfied with their jobs and are becoming crazy, lonely cat ladies. But they won't admit it as long as it is taboo to do so. They will gradually come to understand it when our culture becomes more conservative in the coming years. If women are not in need of our protection, why are we still here? Women want men to stick by their side, care for them, and listen to their problems, but they also want men to think they are not reliant on them. This is something that the individual who altered her gender apparently didn't understand. Feminism's promise of freedom from men has ruined the lives of the majority of Western women. Women are more in need of men than they think because they are dissatisfied at work and are morphing into crazy, lonely cat ladies, but they won't admit it as long as it is frowned upon to do so. They will eventually notice it when our culture becomes more conservative in the ensuing decades. Women will suddenly claim to care about males in this scenario, thereby forcing men back to the negotiating table. Because the men's rights movement aims to reunite men and women in a conventional relationship, there are numerous traditions within it. Since women gain from either choice, feminists only want to present those two possibilities to men. We decide against choosing either alternative since we are aware that both are gynocentric and that neither has a chance of success. As an alternative, we decide to leave the circumstance by moving on. The problem is that there is no formula to anticipate when men will cut off conversations with women and leave. The feminists are aware of this in secret, but they are reluctant to reveal it out of concern that they would lose all of their current devoted slaves we call simps. Instead, they simply ridicule men who make their own decisions, labeling us as men who prefer other men because we don't want to be a woman's slave. They also accuse us of being misogynists in an effort to make us all incapable of relating to women. They want us to be concerned about losing access to their vulnerable selves. They hate us even more because we honestly educate other men about the reality of contemporary life. Modern women are a mystery. They want equality, which means 50-50. But they don't want to pay their half. They don't want to work with the same level of equality, which means working dangerous jobs as men do. They want to be helped by men all the time. Where's the equality in that? Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.